about the New Jersey court system. So we're going to cover the federal court and the New Jersey state court system. In the federal court system, we start every case with the trial court. Every case always begins at the trial court level. And we call it the district court when we're in federal court. It is broken down by districts. Anyone know where the federal district court is for our district? Any guess?
Here?
No, it's not in Patterson. It's in Newark. The federal district court is in Newark. So that's where you would go for filing any federal court case. And it begins at the trial court, which is presided over by one judge. And this is where the trial is conducted. This is where evidence is presented. This is where we have a jury and witnesses give testimony. What you think of as a trial, that takes place here at the trial court, the district court. If you lose here, you have a constitutional right to an appeal to the next level. Let's call this level A. You have the right to appeal to the next level, level B, but only if you can present what is called a fundamental error. Fundamental error. That means you're claiming a mistake was made here at the trial. And if it weren't made, I would have won. That is fundamental. And if the appellate court says we agree, you got a pretty good argument, they'll take your case. But it's possible that they could say no. Okay, a mistake was made, but you know what? You would have lost anyway. That's a harmless error, and your appeal would be denied. And once your appeal is denied, that's it. That's the end of the road for you. Your case is done. However, if they say, yeah, we agree with you, you got a good argument about a fundamental error, you can advance to the next level, level B, which is the appellate court. The appellate court. And in the federal court system, we call that a circuit court. A circuit court takes in several districts, so it's a larger area than the district court. It is presided over by 3 judges. Here's the key, though, to remember about an appellate court. It is a court of review only. We're only reviewing your potential fundamental error. That's all they do. No evidence is ever presented in an appellate court. No witnesses. There's no jury. There's no witness stand. That takes place at the trial court. The only thing that happens in an appellate court is the 2 lawyers for both sides will argue about this fundamental error. I've been there. It's pretty easy how it goes. You stand in front of a podium, you call your name, the lawyer goes up, a little green light goes on. You got 15 minutes to state your argument. But inevitably what happens is the judges will stop you and say, we know what your arguments are, we got questions for you. And they'll start peppering you with questions about your argument. Then the light will turn yellow. That means wrap it up. And when the light turns red, you gotta stop. No matter, even if you're in mid-sentence, once that light turns red, you're done. Then the next side goes. And then they say, thank you, have a good day, we'll let you know. And you get a letter in the mail maybe a month, 2 months later, stating whether or not you won. Now, an appellate court can affirm, reverse, or remand. You have three options. Obviously, if they affirm, that means they're agreeing with the trial court. We affirm their decision. Or they can reverse. They say, nope, trial court's wrong, we're going to reverse the decision, you win. Or, and most common, is a remand. What they'll do is they'll say, yeah, a mistake was made, we agree with you, we're going to send it back to the trial court. That's what remand means. We're going to send it back to the trial, do it over again. Only this time do it the right way. Don't make the same mistake. That's what remand means. And most cases get remanded. Although you do get an appellate court sometimes that will just simply reverse. You win. Now suppose the appellate court affirms the trial court. So you lose again on appeal. You can advance to the next level. Level C, we'll call it, which is the United States Supreme Court. Anyone know where the circuit court is located for our circuit? You won't get it. It's in Philadelphia. You'd have to go to Philadelphia on that appeal. Yeah, I know, it's not good. 2.5 hour trip. It's even longer because it's rush hour in the morning. You got to cross that bridge. Oh, it's a pain in the neck. How about the United States Supreme Court? Where's that located? Washington, D.C. And it is presided over by 9 justices, not judges, justices. The United States Supreme Court is also an appellate court because you are appealing, right, to the next level. And as such, it is also a court of review only. There's never a trial conducted in the Supreme Court. You don't have any witnesses. There's no jury, right? It's just the 2 lawyers arguing in front of the 9 justices. You're arguing again about that fundamental error. But because the United States Supreme Court, located in Washington, D.C., takes in every circuit, that means it's covering the entire United States, right? They can't take every case. They just can't. It's just mathematically not possible. So what they do is they limit the cases to 3 types of cases. They will only consider your case if you fall within one of these 3 types of cases. If you're not in those 3 types, they won't even entertain it. If you are, they'll look at it. It doesn't mean they'll take your case. It means they'll review it. They'll look at it. What kind of cases? Well, you tell me. What do you think is an important type of issue that they'll consider?
Constitutional?
Yes, the Constitution. If your case involves anything with the Constitution, they'll consider it. Like I said, it doesn't mean they'll take it, it means they'll consider it. The second type of case is if there is a conflict among the courts. Sometimes the circuit courts come up with different rulings. The Third Circuit is different than the Ninth Circuit. Well, if that's the case, the Supreme Court says we should take this, we should look at it. It's something that should be resolved. So if there's a conflict among the courts. The third type of case is a case of first impression. A new issue. Something they've never seen before. Oh, this is new. right? That interests them. So it's got to be, your case has to be one of these three for them to even consider it. So, like I said, case of first impression means they've never seen this issue before. Like right now, a lot of internet cases are coming up before the Supreme Court, and they've never entertained these before. I mean, it's only been around for 30 years, right? So some issues are coming up now to the Supreme Court. So how does this work then? Let's assume that you're appealing to the United States Supreme Court and you are one of these three issues. Does that mean you're in? No, right? It means they'll consider it. What you need is a writ of cert. A writ of cert is your ticket into the Supreme Court. It's actually an order to the circuit court to send up the information on this case. We're going to take it. So a writ of cert means you're in. Well, that begs the question then, how do you get a writ of cert? You have to pass what is called the rule of form. The rule of form. And that simply means 4 of the 9 justices agree to take your case. If 4 of them say yes, they'll sign the writ of cert, you're in. But if you can't get 4, you're done. It will deny your appeal, your case is over. Now, you don't need to know this, but it's kind of interesting how it works. The Supreme Court justices meet on the first Monday of every month. And each justice is given a particular area of the United States. Our justice that covers this area right now is Justice Sotomayor. And I think her office is in Fair Lawn. So what would happen is, if you lose here and you want to appeal, and you have one of these 3 issues, you would bring your case to Justice Sotomayor's office in Fair Lawn and say, you know, I want you to take my case. Here's my case. And you hand it to her. If she likes it, she'll take it to that meeting, that first Monday meeting. And she'll sit at the table with her stack of cases and try to get 3 more justices to agree to take it. And they'll haggle and they'll argue. Hey, if you take mine, I'll take yours. They'll even say, you pay for dinner tonight and I'll sign yours. So it's a very formal process, done very informally. But as they sit around that table, you need 4 to agree. And if they do, they'll sign your writ of cert. Now you're in. Again, it's a court of review only. Let's say you lose. They affirm the trial court's decision. You lose. Can you do anything else? Nope, that's it. The United States Supreme Court has the final say. What they say goes. Period. So they can do these 3 things too. They can affirm, they can reverse, or they can remand. Just like any other appellate court. Any questions on the federal court system? No? So, we have a dual court system, and it has 3 levels. There are actually some courts in between here sometimes, but you don't need to know that. What you need to know, what's important, is you go from one level to the next, and there are 3 levels. Now, the state court system is basically the same. It works basically the same way with some little differences. For instance, even though it is a 3-tiered system, we have a sub-court. Which is the municipal court. Anyone know what a municipal court is?
Local towns.
Local township or city. Patterson has its own court. That is a municipal court. Or whatever town you may live in, Wayne Township Court has its own courthouse. That is a municipal court. Some cases begin there. Like if you get a ticket, you want to plead not guilty, it starts there in the municipal court. But most cases begin at the trial court, which in the state court system, instead of being broken down by district, it's broken down by county. And we call it the County Superior Court. That's your trial court. Just like the federal court, it's presided over by one judge. This is where your trial takes place. Except if you lose at a municipal court, you can appeal to the next level, which would be the County Superior Court. So now you have a trial court acting as an appellate court. That happens. The Wayne police arrest you by searching you without a warrant. Your case would begin here, and you would say, hey, you violated my constitutional rights, and they rule against you. You can appeal it, and it would go to the Superior Court. So the trial court would then be an appellate court. But, let's say I punched you in the nose here today in the classroom, and you wanted to sue me for $10,000 in damages. You would file your case in the Passaic County Superior Court. Does anyone know where that court is located?
Isn't that here? Oh, they moved it though.
No, it's in Patterson.
Oh, okay. Oh, they moved the jail.
They moved the jail.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wayne.
I forgot where
I think it was in Wayne.
Yeah.
But the Passaic County Superior Court is located in Patterson. Bergen County Superior Court is located in Hackensack.
Nice.
The Essex County Superior Court,
Is Newark good?
Newark. It's right next door to the federal court. It's on the same Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. Morris County Court, what township are they in? Morristown.
Oh, sorry.
Yep. Anyone from any other county? No. Sussex County is in Newton, New Jersey. So this is then how it's done. The state is broken down by county, not district. And if you lose there, you can appeal. You have a constitutional right to an appeal, but again, you need to present a fundamental error to get your appeal. One thing that needs to be pointed out is, suppose you're looking at the death penalty. They consider pretty much any alleged error to be fundamental. Because think about it, what are the consequences? They're gonna put you to death. So they consider pretty much any error fundamental, and you'll get your appeal. Which is why people can sit on death row for 20 years. Filing appeal after appeal after appeal. If you can come up with something, and the lawyer will, they'll come up with something, they'll file another appeal. Is it fundamental? Yeah, we'll give you the benefit of the doubt, because you're looking at the death penalty. So they'll grant, and who pays for this?
Taxpayer?
We do. The taxpayers pay for it. Which is why many people say it's much cheaper to send someone to prison for life than to put them to death. Because they'll get their appeal for years, 20 years they can sit there on death row appealing. So let's say you do have a fundamental error and you present it to the next court. That is called the New Jersey Appellate Court. Which takes in all the counties in New Jersey. And it is also a court of review only because it's an appellate court, right? And it also is presided over by 3 judges. Same thing. They can affirm, reverse, or remand. Where's the New Jersey Appellate Court located?
Trenton?
Trenton. Very good. You'd have to go to Trenton. And if you lose there, you can appeal to the 3rd state level, which is the New Jersey Supreme Court. That is also an appellate court, so it's a court of review only. It is also presided over by 9 justices. Put that here. 1, 3, 9. Now, the New Jersey Supreme Court takes in all New Jersey cases, but it's not like the United States Supreme Court, right? Which has, they're taking in the entire United States. New Jersey Supreme Court is just limited to New Jersey. So there's not as many cases. So it's not as difficult to get in. And there's no formal process like the writ of cert and rule of 4. But you do need to get your case certified. That just means we're going to take your case. They agree to take it. So they certify it, and they issue a certification. You're in. The New Jersey Supreme Court is located in Trenton, next door to the appellate court. So you'd have to go to Trenton for that. Let's say you lose at the New Jersey Supreme Court. Are you done? Is there anything else you can do?
Appeal to the federal court.
Which one?
Appellate?
Nope. We already did that.
So you'd have to go to the Supreme Court?
Yes! You can make the jump from the New Jersey Supreme Court to the United States Supreme Court under one condition. Your case must present what is called a federal issue. It's the only way. What is a federal issue? It means a federal law is involved. And the Constitution is considered a federal law. So the Constitution, maybe the Civil Rights Act of 1964, any other act, the Affordable Care Act, anything like that, any federal law must be implicated. The First Amendment, the Fourth Amendment, these are all federal issues. That's the only way you can make the jump. But then, of course, you still need your writ of cert and your rule of 4. But you can make that jump. Now, lawyers can be creative, and they can make a federal issue out of anything. Your parents ever say that to you? Oh, don't make a federal issue out of this, or you're making a federal issue out of nothing. Never heard that before? My parents used to say it all the time. It means you're making a big deal out of nothing, which lawyers can do. There's a story I like to tell as an example of this. You ready for it? A couple years back, on a bright sunny day, I 12 o'clock in the afternoon. I was driving up a hill. It was in Wayne. And that's where I live, in Wayne. I was driving up a hill, and at the bottom of the hill was a cop taking radar. And as I got towards the top, another car was coming down. And I turned my lights on and off. You ever do that before? What does it mean?
There's a cop on the other side.
There's a cop up ahead, right? Warning, radar trap, right? As soon as I did that, a cop in front of me jumps out from behind a tree and pulls me over and gives me a ticket. Did you have a question?
Oh no.
No?
It was
You
just
waved
stretching.
at me.
Sorry.
Just stretching. So he gives me a ticket for improper use of high beams. And I'm like, I didn't put my high beams on. Doesn't matter, you shouldn't be doing that. I go, really? You're gonna give me a ticket for this? Yes, and he writes me a ticket. You son of a Wayne cops, you know? So I'm pretty angry about it, and I say, I'm fighting this. I go home, I call up the court, not guilty. Give me my court date. So I get my court date, and I go, and I see the prosecutor beforehand, who I happen to know, and I explained to him what happened. I said, I wasn't using my high beams, improper use of high beams. I just turned my lights on and off, and it was a bright sunny day. I wasn't distracting anybody. I wasn't being careless or anything. And the prosecutor goes, okay, look, let the judge yell at you because he doesn't like when drivers do that. So let him yell at you, don't say anything, and then I'll move to dismiss. Okay, I said, all right. So I get up in front of the judge, and he starts yelling at me. Nasty. You should have been given a ticket for careless driving. How dare you? You're interfering with police work. This is obstruction of justice. I said, as being the lawyer that I am, right? Hold on, Your Honor, stop, time out. I have every right to do what I did. If I wanted to put up a sign that said, warning, radar trap ahead, I can do that, and you can't do anything about it. Oh, that got him even more angry. He yelled at me. Finally, he said, Mr. Prosecutor, what do you want to do? And the prosecutor said, we move to dismiss. The judge says, reluctantly, and he gives me a dirty look, case dismissed. Bangs the gavel. I turn around to leave. I get a standing ovation from the crowd there. I go home. Here's the point of my story. I go home, and the New Jersey Law Journal is on my kitchen table. It's a newspaper that covers all cases in New Jersey for lawyers, right? Right there on the front page is the story about this 75-year-old woman who got a ticket for improper use of high beams on a bright sunny day in the middle of the afternoon, just like me. And I think it was in Brick Township. So she was in municipal court in Brick Township. And she pleaded not guilty. And she lost. The ACLU took her case. Did you ever hear of the ACLU? The American Civil Liberties Union will take cases for free if they feel that your civil rights or constitutional rights are being violated. So they took her case. And they appealed to the Superior Court. She lost. They appealed to the New Jersey Appellate Court. They lost. They appealed to the New Jersey Supreme Court. They lost. They then appealed to the United States Supreme Court for a moving violation ticket of improper use of high beams. How can you make a federal issue out of that? Because that's the only way they could make that jump.
Was it a federal highway?
No.
Ah.
It's just a local township street. How do you make a federal issue out of improper use of high beams?
Racism?
No? Think about what I said to the judge. I said, if I wanted to hold up a sign that said, warning, radar trap ahead, I have every right to do that. What right?
First Amendment?
First Amendment, freedom of speech. Freedom of speech includes any action intended to convey a message. So flashing my lights on and off was conveying a message, which was,
Police up there.
slow down. There's a police officer ahead, right? So any kind of form of action that is conveying a message. If I give you the middle finger, I'm not actually speaking, but you know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
You know what the message is. So that's freedom of speech. That's a First Amendment issue. The United States Supreme Court said, we'll take your case. Took the case for a simple ticket, like my ticket. And the 9 justices ruled 9-0 in favor of the woman. That this was a matter of freedom of speech. That she had every right, so long as she wasn't distracting another driver or actually flashing her lights, it was just one on and one off, just like me. That's intended to convey a message under the First Amendment, and they ruled in favor of her. And I felt like taking that article back to that judge and saying, see, I was right, you were wrong. So, when the United States Supreme Court rules that, that's not only the law in New Jersey, right? That's the law in the entire United States. Because they cover the entire United States. So if you ever get pulled over for doing that, remember, you have a constitutional right to do that. Freedom of speech. Just don't do it at night. Because then you're distracting the oncoming driver. Right? That you can't do. I haven't done it since. I don't want to have to go through that again. But I know the law now, and I was right all along. So lawyers can make a federal issue pretty much out of anything. That's not really a bar to making that jump. So the state court system is really potentially 5 levels, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Even though we say it is 3 levels, it is a dual court system with 3 levels. But remember, potentially it could be 5 in the state court. Any questions? No? Comments?